Zero Mara. Hello, hello. No contact 3095. What kind of a username is this? Hi, Lala. Lisa T. Heidi. Hello. Oh, I better do the settings. Let me just do that really quick. Give me 1 second. Okay. Oops. There. How is everyone? Hi, Lisa, Joy, Romina, hello. Charlotte Judgmental. That's a funny one. Hello, Alex, Michael. Thank you. No contact. I'm sorry. It is hilarious to call you no contact. That's such a hot topic in this community. Been waiting for you. I know. I'm sorry. I couldn't go live today at around 3. Couldn't happen. I had unexpected things come in today that I wasn't planning for. So I'm sorry about that. But I'm here now. But here's the downside of me being here now. I left my frickin' laptop downstairs. So we all know that I'll be squinting up close like that to be able to read anything. But that's all right. We're going to muster through. And I don't have as much time as I would have had if I'd been able to go live at 3, but that's not me complaining. Just saying. What's up, Salty? Oh my God, JT. It has been a million years. How are you, beautiful friend? Paige, it's not 3 o'clock, Kim. Bitch, seriously. You of all people. You of all people? Oh, I'll be there at the exclusive lives. I'll be there Tuesday. I'll be there Tuesday. I'll be there Tuesday. Week after week after week. No show. You ain't got no room. Oh, God. Well, I can't wait to hear all things, JT. I look forward to catching up with you. And you know all the other exclusive lives people are like, all right, Paige, she's got you there. She's got you there, girl. Oh. Oh, God, that's hilarious. Okay. That just made me, let's see, that just made my whole day. All right. H. Piera. Probably said your name wrong, and I'm sorry. Hi, Kim. How do we stay in the state? By lovingly knowing and accepting that you don't necessarily have to stay in the state. Oof, I know. That kind of goes against everything. And it even goes against some of my old fucking content. But let me explain why. Because you are source and you are all there is in every given moment. So if you remember what Neville Goddard said about states, right? It's not how long you hold a state. It's the frequency of returning. And I would dare to say that's kind of the same idea with knowing yourself as source. They really are similar. Now, I know one sounds like, well, it still sounds like I got to be in a state. Well, your awareness of who you are is where you are, let's say, in reality, at every given moment. So when you're having, like, let's say right now, with you asking me that question, how do I stay in the state? Is that you questioning whether you're in the state or not? Your decision in who you are is ultimately the only thing that matters. So why would we ever make the assumption that we're not in the state? We don't need to. We can have our feelings, our emotions, and our thoughts and still be aware of being the I am and be okay is what I'm trying to say. And I do know that there is opposition to that thought, and they can be their limited selves and have their opposing ideas. But it's a lot freer to know that no matter how I think or feel, I still get what I want. See what I'm saying? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? And I think too, let me just add this is, why do we hear like the word repetition? Why is that so popular, right? Well, you could look at repetition as remembering. Remembering. And the more often you remember who you really are, that's really all it takes to manifest. That's like hand over my heart. It's all it really takes is you remembering, or the repetition of you remembering. Because shifts, we could say shifts in state, they're instant. Because you are all versions of self at every given moment. And anything outside of that is just an experience. So you can know that you are not out of the state and be right. That's what I mean. I hope that makes sense. Lisa T, thank you very much. Been fighting myself. Self-forgiveness been hard. Oh, dear. That makes me sad to hear for you. And I'm not going to lie. I think that out of almost every session I've had, self-forgiveness has the appearance, from my perspective, as being the most difficult. Because we are our own worst self-critic, our own enemy. And I do think there is something to self-forgiveness. So let's just, for the sake of conversation, just to make it easier, let's pretend that there's one specific event that really stands out to you, and it's the one that's bothering you, that you wish that you had handled differently. Now, I could sit here and I could regurgitate the same old shit and just tell you, well, Lisa, just fucking revise it. Revise it, Lisa. But I'm not going to feed you that answer. And not that I have anything against revision. I just don't think revision is required when you truly know or understand what being the I am really is, right? That's more of a self-soothing of the ego. Not that that's bad. And not that that means that you can't move yourself, from a timeline. Let me word it like that. From a timeline. I'm not saying that it doesn't work. I'm not saying any of that. It's just not needed. So I find that one of the easier ways to get yourself around something that you're being hard on yourself over is gratitude. And I know we don't talk about that much because that is a word that can be overused. But when you find yourself really stuck on one particular thing that's bothering you, and I'm telling you this only because I've lived this. I've had my own moments of things throughout my life that I regret how I handled, how I responded to something, blah, 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 blah. And I could tell you more than one things that still kind of stand out to me, that it was not easy for me to just snap my fingers and go right into forgiveness. What helped me was gratitude and remembering what God is. Now, everyone has their unique idea of what God, if we can say Jesus, we can say all the things, means to you, the individual. But I believe, so this is from my perspective, that God, I am, Jesus, all the holy names, is unconditional love. So that thing that you're struggling to forgive yourself for was already forgiven. It was already forgiven. It was already, I'm going to say, like, made better, made okay. You're just experiencing, let's say, the lingering of one of the infinite identities, but you were already forgiven for it. It's already gone. I will tell you, understanding that did not make me instantly feel better. And that's where the gratitude came in. Gratitude can be an instant shift within, because it's hard to be sad and feeling shame when you are allowing yourself to think about all the things that you're grateful for. It's just, to me, it's like an easy ticket to feeling a little bit better and getting the focus off of what's bothering you, especially if it feels like it's something resistive. That's what I have personally done for myself. I don't know if that helps. I hope it does. I'm intending that it does. Being very empathetic towards those who have very little. I'm not short on gratitude for sure. I do that every morning. So I'm being very empathetic toward those who have very little. Is that what is standing out for you? Oops. Shame. Yes, I think that's the word. Yeah, and it's the worst, isn't it? It's the worst word. I swear, from my little conspiracy theorist mind, I think shame was a deliberate condition. It's a deliberate condition, I think. Like, I don't think it's a coincidence that that exists. Gratitude helped me. And even though, like, listen, I believe you. I believe what you said about, going into gratitude every morning. I still think that that could be helpful. And even the experience of feeling that shame, it doesn't have to be real. Doesn't have to have deeper meaning. Shame can make us feel all sorts of shitty things about ourselves. And it could honestly be just an old pattern of like self-sabotage. No, crap choices I made. Oh God, I just so resonate with you. I resonate. It's easy for me to sit here and to tell you, like, you're already forgiven for those things. What if those crap choices were the exact choices you needed to make to move you to this moment where you are now, where you are so self-aware? And I mean that in a good way. What if? Think about it. When you're looking back at that choice, I literally just had this conversation this afternoon. Literally the same conversation. And it was over the same type of subject. It was a choice this person made that they have moments of regret and they're feeling the shame for. And at the same time, it expanded their awareness. They became very self-aware of, what their input was into their relationships and things like that. And that damn word shame still lingering. You don't know, just like anybody else sitting here doesn't know, whether whatever those decisions you made were, they may have had to have been for, let's say, for that timeline, the choices you needed to make. And maybe that's beyond our understanding in this moment. Maybe that doesn't make sense to you in this moment, but that doesn't make that less true. Think about, I brought this up, I think I brought it up in the last live stream, that every person in your reality is willingly playing their part, whether they're consciously aware of why they're playing that part, but they are willingly playing the part. Right? From the beggar to the murderer to the thief to everyone else. They're playing their part willingly. And that can include a version of you who made choices that the version of you are now regrets or feels shame over. But all of that could have been things that needed to happen. It's a matter of perspective as well. I know I became aware of the things about my I believe that's self-concept. You know me, self-concept, because of those choices. So that's a good view. Thank you. You are welcome. I hope I don't think I missed anybody else's because, oh yeah, I did. Hold on. You are all now watching the moment of me regretting not having my laptop here. Is that Michaela? Hey, Kim, you're so beautiful as always. I am your new friend, Kim. And by the way, yesterday I am again falling to my old self again. I had been rejected 3 times already with my SP. Can I still get what I want? Yes, there is no limit. There is no limit, Michaela. You could come to one of my live streams and tell me that you've been rejected 100 times and it still wouldn't matter. There is no limit. Now, I know you don't want to be rejected that many times, and I don't blame you, but yeah, there's no limit. There's no limit to anything, and there's no ending to anything. If you really, really think about that, and when you think about what consciousness is, it's infinite. And then pile on top of that the infinite possibilities, the infinite outcomes, the infinite choices, the infinite decisions, the infinite selves, the infinite versions of the other people in your reality, the infinite versions of you. It's infinite. There is no ending. So I am not surprised that this conversation also happened today. That, let's say this, so anybody out there manifesting a specific person that you've already had an interaction with, and maybe that question has run across your mind, like, again, I'm just making something up, like, I've already manifested my person 3 times and now here I am, I have to manifest them back again. How do I know that this time isn't just, it's just really over and that I have to move on? Because it really feels so strongly that I'm not going to be able to manifest my person back. So what if that's real? What if that's the truth? What if it's really over? Nothing is over until you say it's over. And even then, it's not really over because all of the infinite possibilities already exist. They're already there. There are no true endings to anything. So like I said, you can come to me and tell me you've had 97,000 breakups with the same damn person. It's not over until you have made the conscious decision, I no longer want to have interaction with this SP. And I know that might sound very unbelievable, but when you take your emotions and feelings and put them aside for a moment, right? Any emotional attachments to what you're manifesting, put them to the side for a moment. How can you tell me that it's really over, and in the same breath tell me you accept and understand the infinite? They don't go together. It doesn't go together. It's kind of an all or nothing thing. So yes, Michaela, you having to be rejected 3 times does not matter and will not stop your desire from happening. What I think every person manifesting should do is surrender their fucking 3D. Stop giving it meaning. Stop overanalyzing it, overthinking it. I used to be that person who would overanalyze, overthink, and condition my 3D. That's why I'm saying my advice is let it go. Not the desire, the 3D. Let it go. I don't care how many times it's been. Let it go. Instead, put the focus on you in knowing, understanding, and truly like standing on business who you are. Make that decision and stand in it with brazen impudence. And I'm telling you, your world will change. Everything already exists. At this point, like we've said, creation is finished so many times that now it just sounds like a cliche response to questions, right? But it does. You know that there are even scientists who are getting on board with the idea of all the infinite possibilities already existing in the quantum field. So it's not just us manifestation land chit chatters. See what I mean? There's no limits, I'm telling you. Limitless Queen. How are you, bitch? Let's see. Almost every time I ask my higher self a question, I get the answer before finishing the question. I love that. Thoughts on this? Love you, bitch. I love you too. And I am not surprised. I mean, that is like instantaneous response. And I'm going to tell you, it's not always an instant response for me. I'm not aware of any beliefs. It usually is within the same day that I will get my answer. I think that's fucking powerful. That would also tell me you're pretty in tune. You're in tune. Like, what was it? I think it was Shia LaBeouf who used the example of like what he believes the voice of God is in his head and how he's able to separate the typical, like, what our monkey mind is versus what he believes is God, higher self, talking to him. So that would tell me you're very in tune. I think that's pretty fucking amazing. That's what I think. Salty, thank you very much. Wanted more money for car. Felt confident I had a case for more, but got turned down. I can press further, but more legal shit and don't, wait, I gotta read with that. I can press further, but more legal shit and don't want to prolong this legal thing. Getting okay, but feels like a lost as it wasn't exact. Okay, but I think, all right, so you saying, I don't want to prolong this legal thing, which, listen, I don't blame you. I can press further, but more legal stuff has to happen. And I don't want to prolong this legal thing. I understand you. I also don't blame you. But do you see how your mind is already calculating, analyzing, and predicting your next step? I wouldn't even go there. I would stand on business on what you want and know that that is who you are and not worry about the details. And again, listen, I know this is an unfortunate circumstance, so I'm not trying to make light of it for you. I'm just trying to say that it doesn't matter what's in front of you, Salty. If you think that you're not getting the justice that you deserve, then don't settle. Don't give up. They may have already kind of like, let's say, rejected what you initially wanted. So what? You're I am. So what? One rejection. Listen, they're doing their jobs, quite frankly, by not giving you exactly what you want immediately. That's what insurance companies and attorneys, no offense to either, that's what they're paid to do. To save their clients from having to pay out a lot of money. So of course they initially reject it. I'd stand on business and don't try to, when your mind wants to take you to the, oh my God, I don't want to stay in a legal battle. You don't have to stay in that legal battle. You can stand in your I amness and that damn legal battle will fold to you. Don't forget who you are. I wouldn't give up. Do you see what I mean, girl? Don't you give up. They offered 15,000, you wanted 16,000. I'd stand on damn business. Of course they lowballed. Of course they did. Of course they did. Stand on your business. You want fucking 16? I would. That's just what I would do. You don't have to do what I would do. but really tired of the situation. I don't blame you. It's stressing me, honestly. Okay, well then, all right. So then let's come to a concession here. You want 16,000. You don't want 15. And if taking that 15 is going to, like say from that point on, you're going to look at that as I didn't get what I want. I got less than what I want. This didn't work out the way I want. Has that fulfilled you? Is that fulfilling for you? I know the answer is no. That is not fulfilling you. You wanted 16. Stand on business that you want 16. Don't settle for less. If you're going to settle for that 15 because you don't feel like going through the legal battle, then accept it as a win. Because it's not going to do you any justice. It's not going to make you feel better to look at it as a failure. Right? If it's for peace of mind reasons, because you just want to get out of the legal battle, fine. But accept it as fulfillment. And if you know that your heart is set on the 16, then I would get my mind off of how I think this needs to happen, how I assume it's going to take longer to go through the legal process. I would get myself out of the how and instead remember who the hell you are. You have no idea that maybe they smell that you're not going to settle and that they very much don't want to keep this legal battle going, and then instead just they give in and concede and give you the 16. That very well could happen like that. You're fighting the legal fight for yourself in your mind, right? You're already pre-planning how this is going to unfold. If I don't accept the 15, the legal battle is going to have to keep going on and on and on, and I'm tired of doing this, which I don't blame you. But I'm saying, can't you see? Your focus is on how I believe this must unfold. And that's not your job. And I wouldn't give up. Hold on. Oh, okay. The longer I wait, the more the loan charges me. Wait. They offer 15 and wanted 16, but really tired of I already read that. The longer I wait, the more the loan charges me. I'm not understanding how that happened. Actually, I don't need to understand how that loan thing happens. That is you. Again, you have to know that the answer I'm giving you, I'm not saying it from a judgy, critiquing, criticizing you way. I'm not. But I am just giving you an honest manifestation answer. Please understand, I'm not pretending that this would be snap, crackle, pop easy for me to do either. I would have the frustration too. We're still human, right? But the honest manifestation answer is, truthfully, you fucking stand on business. And somehow, some way, that loan doesn't end up charging you more. You're God. See what you're analyzing. You're predicting. If I keep this battle up, if I stand and say, no, I want this amount, I'm going to lose this amount because the loan's going to keep going because time must still go on. Analyzing, predicting, keeping myself safe, keeping myself secure, trying to figure out the next movement or the next moment in my 3D instead of I got 16,000, I went home with 16,000 and I get to keep my 16,000. Or whatever, however it works for you. That is who I am. Period. And Salty, you just got to know, I can't tell you the The fuckery type of things that people have manifested or come to me for coaching for, I'm saying. The wildest circumstances that turned around and went exactly the way that person wanted. I see it all the time. All the fucking time. Where it seems like they've got all the odds against them. All the circumstances, all the evidence in the world to give up. And somehow, some way, something happens that flips that circumstance on its ass and works out for that person. It happens all the time. In love, in money, career, in all the areas. It happens all the damn time. This shit is driving me crazy. I'm getting emotional about everything. I don't blame you. You're exhausted. You're exhausted, understandably. All the more reason to surrender this shit. Surrender it. I'm done. This is who I am. I'm not going to think about this anymore. I'm not going to overanalyze this fucking situation anymore. I'm done. I'm done. I made my decision. I don't have to think about this right now. Seriously. Feelings like I'm anywhere close to my desire and I'm just frustrated. I know this shit works. Yes, you're frustrated. And that's why it feels like I'm anywhere close. That's why. Because that's not true. It's not true. You only see a fraction of your reality. You only see a fraction. But everything's here. Everything exists. You see what I'm saying? Listen, we as humans, we think we have all shit figured out. We think that when we look out at life around us and whatever situations might be happening, whatever circumstances, whatever experiences, we think we've got it all figured out. And when a shitty circumstance is in our face, we already think we've got that figured out. And if you are the type of person that is conditioned to assume the worst case scenario to protect yourself, if that's how you have survived life up until finding this stuff, you are naturally going to start thinking that way again, to protect yourself, to assume the worst, or what looks like the easiest way possible to get out of the circumstance. It's conditioning. It's an old habit, right? It's an old identity. And it can be exhausting, but it's only exhausting when we are trying to fight the outside battle by just our little self. Like through the ego self. Let the God within you handle this. We were never here to try to figure out every fucking next step we take. We were here to figure out who the fuck we are. And the way I see it, and once you're awake to that, I look at it as, and so now the challenge is to stand on business as who you are. But standing on business doesn't mean you never have an emotion, you never have a feeling, you never have a shitty day. It doesn't mean that. Which is why sometimes we have to return to who we are. Well, what does that mean? Sometimes we forget. Sometimes we get ourselves all entangled in what the circumstance is, and we forget who we are. We are not here to figure out every fucking circumstance. That's not our job, and it's never going to be our job. Our only job, if we're going to call it a job, is to wake up, is to remember. Yes, trying to maintain my focus throughout the fuckery, but today is just rough. And that's okay. That is okay. I mean, legally, I will have no debt. I got me a second car and I can replace my car, but this was crappy. It's not the end of anything. No, you are going to walk away better than when you started. Period. We will not accept less. You're going to walk away fully fulfilled. Period. That's right. I am the source. Damn right, Michaela. Oh, thank you again, Michaela. Sorry, I just saw this other super chat. Thank you, Kim. I am keep telling myself what I learned from you, that everything happened for my favor, and not limit myself that everything could happen instant in many ways for me to experience it. Good. Good. Sup, John M. Sup. How are you tonight? Sierra Blue. Elsie here. Situation lover versus SP. Oh, I remember Elsie. Kim, I am feeling very invested in SP, but there's a bit of, if I experience this guy to the fullest like I want to, I don't want to change paths of lover. Help. You don't have to. You don't have to. Don't get yourself all entangled in all those types of details. I know that's easy for me to say. Don't. Let it flow. Know who you are. And from there, like if I was living your situation, what I would be doing is I would follow what feels good. All my decisions would be based on what feels good. What feels good to me in this moment? I'm going to do that. I'm not going to worry about where that decision might lead me. I'm just going to keep choosing what feels good. It won't fail you. All the while, you knowing who you are as already being whole, lacking nothing. Lacking nothing. Key phrase, lacking nothing. Already fulfilled. So therefore, I don't have to figure out how this is going to pan out with either person. I don't have to have that part figured out. I don't have to live afraid that if I do this action that I'm going to lose, either one. No, follow what feels good. Trust in who you are. That's what I would be doing. My parents offered to help me pay for a new one. I'm going to tell you right now that no matter what is going to happen, you are going to be fully restored and better. You are going to walk away from this lacking nothing, no setbacks, no inconveniences. Now, I know the situation is a fucking inconvenience. I know that. But I'm saying once it appears in reality as if it's said and done, because it already is. We know that, right? It's already done. That you're going to be in a 100% better position than you were before the moment it happened. Period. And I hope you, especially Salty, are remembering that you don't get punished for having feelings and emotions. You having a rough day doesn't mean you are there now going to be chastised by source. This is unconditional. I don't care. I will go toe to toe with anybody on that subject. I will. I will. What's that saying? Like, I will die on the hill. I will die on the hill with that. Okay? Because I've heard some stupid shit out in the community. Like, oh, you let yourself spiral. That shit's going to have to manifest now. It's going to have to manifest now. You spiraled. You sat all day in the knowing that you were the lacking version of yourself. Has to manifest. Everything already exists. Creation is finished. Who you know yourself to be, though, is instant. So there is no paybacks for a bad day. Unless you believe that to be true, and then yes, can you manifest that experience? Sure, but you don't have to. That's a willful choice. Ah, thanks. That's what I needed to remember. Good, Sierra Blue. Good. What do you think about overanalyzing the 3D and micromanaging, or trying to think of the limits of the law? I love your question. I'm sorry. I love a good old-fashioned misspelling, or hitting the wrong key as you're typing, and I'm going to read them like they're written, because I'm a smartass. That's all. All right. So what do you think about overanalyzing the 3D and micromanaging, or trying to think of the limits of the law? Okay. So are you saying like you're just pondering what possible limits are of the law? Like you're just pondering it? Like, I don't think there's really anything wrong with that, but are you aware that there are no limits to the law? You can choose the experience of having the limits, though. You can do that. Right? I am is unconditional, meaning so you can experience any version of yourself at any given moment. It is a choice. So, and as far as like overanalyzing the 3D and micromanaging, as a personal opinion, I think it is dumb. And I mean that in the most polite way. I think it's dumb because it's something I used to do. So I look back at that now and I think, oh my God, so much time I wasted on stupid shit. Upsetting myself over so many stupid things that I could have freed myself from. I see it that way. Now, not necessarily from a place of shame, just from a place of an experience, right? Why do I think it's dumb? Because our job was never to try to figure everything out. If we're going to call it a job, our job was to remember who we actually are. But how things come to us, how it appears to us in reality, was never our problem. The only thing asked of us was to be still and know. So when we find ourselves overanalyzing, micromanaging, you're not being still and know. Well, in fact, you are. You're being still and knowing that you are not who you choose to be. Because if you were truly knowing that you were the self you want to be, or knowing that you are source, either one, there would be no need for overanalyzing. There would be no need to micromanage. You micromanage and overanalyze from fear. From the expectation that if I don't do this, if I don't plan and prepare and try to figure things out, then it won't happen. Then I won't get it exactly the way I want to. So therefore, I am not. See what I mean? So my self-concept is perfect. Men are showing up for me, even my SP. However, SP told me today he is moving to a different state for his job. SOS. What do I do? What meaning are you giving this? What does his moving to another state mean for you? I mean, probably the obvious, right? Oh, he's moving away. That means I won't be able to see him. I won't be able to be with him because he doesn't live under, or near or in the same state that I live in anymore. So therefore, that means I can't be with SP. No, That's your mind doing its job, trying to predict your next step. Analyzing, questioning. Does this mean I have to give up on him if he moves? I don't want to be in a relationship with somebody that's out of state. I don't want to do this. This is a threat to me having my desire, right? Do you really want to be with this person? Have you made that decision? Right? Is that really what you want to experience? And if the answer is yes, then him moving, number one, doesn't have to happen. Right? Nothing is ever permanent. So number one, like I said, he doesn't have to move. Something could happen that changes and he ends up staying, changes his mind. I don't know, gets a different position at his work, so he stays. That anything like wild like that can happen. Which, if I'm not mistaken, in one of our old live streams, we had someone who was in a similar situation. Their SP was moving and wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Something happened where they didn't end up moving and they stayed. We've also had their SP moving and the SP moved, and I think they were away for a very, very short time, like not even 6 months, and came back home. So we've had it all. Nothing is final. Nothing is permanent. There are no real threats to your desire other than your own fears. And it's not the fear themselves. It's you're believing those fears. You're accepting them as that's my truth. That is who I am. So if you know that you really, really want this specific person, then I don't know why. I just like say standing on business. I'm loving that phrase right now. So stand on business. You are source. You are all there is. Nothing for you to figure out. Know who you are. Boom. That's it. This will take care of itself. It must, right? It's the reflection of your consciousness. It must. And you'll see. You'll come back here and you'll let us know that something happened and it all worked out. And it will. Oh, sorry, David, I didn't even see yours. David registers 3-5. Hi. Hi, Kim. Hi, David. It was very nice of you. Did you have anything you wanted? I mean, other than just hi, Kim? That was very nice. That was very kind of you, David. Little frog chef. I've been trying to do things on my own, hanging out with cousins because I have no friends. I'm currently still in the missing him, constantly ruminating, crying like a baby. I'm trying, though. Hold on. I did have a good dream for the first time since last night. I was sitting next to my SP and watching him fancy dance. He's native. I think it's progress from how bad it was initially, though. Well, I think that whatever you believe it is, and it looks like you believe that it is something favorable, I think that's amazing because it's going to be what you decide it is. That's what I mean by that. So, good. Now, let's talk about you telling me that you're ruminating, crying like a baby. What does that mean to you? Do you think that prolongs a desire? Do you think you're going to get punished for that time? The ruminating? Now, listen, it doesn't feel good to do any of that stuff. I know it doesn't. It just feels better to feel better, right? We all just want to feel happy. But I don't want you to think that that you're coming here and confessing that you've been ruminating, you've been crying, as if that is, I'm a bad manifester because I'm ruminating, because I'm crying. I just want you to know that. You're human too. You're having emotions and feelings. There's a circumstance that has upset you, understandably. The ruminating part, well, what are we ruminating in? The fear that it's over? And like I would tell anybody else, it doesn't have to be. This doesn't have to be the end. I think it's helpful to look at reality, like, even when it doesn't make any fucking sense, when we've got circumstances in front of us that just seemingly make no sense, that even then somehow they are to our benefit. Not for us to try to figure out what that benefit is, but to somehow, some way, that is happening to give me exactly what I want. Period. It doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to make, like logical, literal sense either. It's just a little way to get our minds off of feeling like we have to analyze and figure out, why is this happening? What did I do to manifest this? That's the worst one, okay? And that is something I used to do, especially in my early days. What did I think that caused this to manifest? I must have done something wrong. I must have made a mistake. Blah, 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 blah. No. We don't have to beat ourselves up because circumstances popped in. We don't even have to look at circumstances and call them fucking circumstances. Sometimes shit shows up that doesn't make sense. But what helps me to remember is all of this is my consciousness, all of it. And my consciousness is the same consciousness of the absolute, the all, universe, God, whatever words you want to use. It's the same consciousness. So therefore, the possibilities, the situations, the experiences, the circumstances, all different ones can present themselves. The ones that stick around are the ones based on me. So everything ends up going to my way, my benefit. You might not believe that in the moment you instantly experience something, but that's okay. Thank God you don't have to micromanage every moment of every thought of yours. Thank God. I'm not sure, Little Frog Chef, I don't remember exactly when you may have come to, my end of the internet. But let me just say, if you, if you only knew how many breakups and fuckery and love that I manifested. And somehow, some way, everything ended up leading me to having what I want. And I cried. I had moments of ruminating. I had all of that. In the end, everything was okay. And the same thing's going to happen for you. I like to look at it as becoming more and more and more and more and more and more aware, right? That expansion of awareness. So what if that's what's happening right now? You're just coming more into the full understanding of exactly who you are as I am. And maybe that can bring a little comfort to that human-y side of you, so that you can feel more comfortable in knowing and trusting that you are who you say you are. And that reality must reflect. It must do what you want it to do, what you choose for yourself. Be still and know that I am. Right? Yes, I've been ruminating on the breakup. I kind of explained the details in the hot seat, the things bothering me the most now is just betrayal and him choosing 3P. I've decided I didn't deserve those things. You didn't deserve those things. You didn't. I agree with you on that. So coming to that understanding that you didn't deserve it, has that made you feel better? Does that make you feel a little bit better? Because sometimes just that slight moving in the scale of being hurt, being sad, moving to anger, sometimes that can feel a little bit better. And I'm not saying that you have to follow the emotional guidance scale. I, I don't mean that necessarily. I'm just saying from my own experience, being hurt and heartbroken versus being angry, I'm going to choose the being angry between the two, right? So if I'm faced with those decisions, I'm going to follow what feels good. And between broken heart and hurting, being angry, which one feels better to me? The anger. And move from there. That's what I'm trying to say. So maybe coming into the understanding that you didn't fucking deserve what has happened moved you. Maybe that was you following what feels good. And the only reason why I talk about the follow what feels good is because it can't fail you. It can't fucking fail you. Because I believe that our normal state, the truth of who we are, right? Our real true self is unconditional love. I personally equate love to feeling good, to feeling better, fulfillment. We can throw in the words like happy, joyful. And I don't mean them as, well, you have to feel that way in order to get your desire. I don't mean it that way. I'm saying that following what feels good can lead you to the true self. See what I'm saying? I hope that made sense and I didn't just make that shit more confusing. There's just a million circumstances. Some I don't give much of a crap about, but those are the two that I have observed that are triggering the most. Something in me from my childhood past experiences. Okay, so wait, it made me feel better admitting I didn't deserve that treatment. I've been treated that way my whole life by everyone. Was heavy to admit. I always thought I deserved it because something was wrong with me. I love that you're awake to knowing, honey, that you didn't deserve it. To me, that's also a reminder of something I've said a lot, especially in our hot seat group, is being authentic to yourself will also never fail you. So you authentically facing and accepting, acknowledging the previous life experiences, I think that needed to happen. See, I'm the person that when I look at, all right, where my life is right now versus where I was, and if I can look back at what looks like my lifeline, right? But we know time isn't real. But for the sake of this conversation, let's look at it as if linear time was real. So my so-called linear time experience. I can look back at all my experiences and now because I've lived through them, I can sit here and say to you, they all make sense to me now. It makes sense how I moved to this moment. Everything I experienced in some way was growing and shaping and refining me as this version of myself. Where I am in my acceptance and understanding of being wholeness as unconditional love as I am. So I'm careful, I hope, in really getting the point across that I'm not trying to tell you that you got to suffer to get the shit you want. I'm not trying to say that. I just don't think that anything happens by coincidence. I think everything has its purpose. And its purpose is to give us the life we want, to give us our desires based on who we know ourselves to be. Meaning how you finish that phrase, I am who? I am what? Right? So if I look back with my 2020 hindsight of everything I experienced along the way to here now, right? Most of my journey was manifesting love, trying to manifest a loving, fulfilling, committed relationship with a specific person, blah, blah, blah. I'm only saying it like that because you've all heard my story a million times. So I look back now and yeah, I didn't love living through my shitty moments, but those shitty moments also weren't wasted moments either. I'm not saying that they were lessons that I absolutely had to experience or I was never going to get what I want. I'm not trying to say that. I'm saying though that they weren't wasted. They made sense. And even experiencing shitty, uncomfortable moments never stopped me from getting here to this version of myself. So you can have the most uncomfortable circumstances happening, but that doesn't mean because I'm here, because I'm living the experience of coming to the understanding that I didn't deserve all of these things, right? Talking to you. I was going to say little frog self, but I forgot the chef part. Talking to you, little frog chef. You coming to understanding that you didn't deserve a lot of the things you experienced throughout your life. I see that as a fucking benefit. I do. I see that good. Now you know what you do deserve, what you are worthy of. You are coming into the understanding that you are pure, unadulterated consciousness, God. That you are that. You are that consciousness now. And that you actually deserve the best in life. You actually deserve whatever your heart desires. And because you experience your consciousness, the reflection of your consciousness, well, if you're aware of being that unconditional loving self, then that would tell me that's what reality must reflect for you now. Because now you are aware of who you are. I am who. Get what I'm saying? So in other words, you're only going to benefit from this shit. You're only going to benefit from it. You're only going to end up getting the life you want. So don't overwork yourself about the moments you find yourself ruminating. And then let's, keeping this example going for anybody else out there, when do we feel like shit the most? When we're ruminating, when we're overanalyzing, when we're trying to micromanage, when we're trying to force things to happen out here, when we're overthinking our circumstances, when we're giving conditions to our circumstances. Think about it. Every time you have felt like shit on this journey, it has had something to do with one of those things I just listed. Because when do we ever feel like shit when we're sitting here thinking, holy shit, I can actually have the life I want? I can actually be in a relationship that actually fulfills me. That's possible for me. I can actually be a millionaire or whatever your money desires are. I can actually have that life. That doesn't feel like shit, or at least that doesn't feel like shit to me. That excites the hell out of me. Give me whatever I want. Period. Give me what I want. I want what I want, and I want it fast. I don't want to fuck around with waiting. None of us do. And all I have to do is know who I am, who I want to be. That's it. That doesn't seem so difficult. We can't help ourselves. We start looking back out at the 3D that we think is on the outside of us. And there's always that opportunity to start overanalyzing, ruminating on our so-called past, overanalyzing what we think our current circumstances are, overanalyzing, overthinking, micromanaging of how it would be possible for our life to actually change. Well, how am I ever going to be a millionaire when I'm making 20 bucks an hour, working 40 hours a week at this job? This job of mine is never going to pay me that kind of money. Maybe you didn't graduate college. Oh, well, I never graduated college. I never did this. I never did that. Doesn't make sense. How could I ever be a millionaire? That just doesn't make sense. I don't see that. I don't see in my 3D how that could ever be true for me. Feels like shit, doesn't it? That feels like shit. I don't understand. SP is with a third party. Given his love or her love to someone else. What if something terrible happens? What if they run off and get married? Then what? How am I ever going to be in that relationship if those circumstances happen? I just don't see it. It feels like shit, doesn't it? It's because we were never asked to do any of those things. We were asked to be still and know who, what I am. That's it. The only thing asked of us is to know that I am. Not be still and know and ruminate, overanalyze, micromanage, condition, worry, shit yourself. Those things were never asked of us. But we do those so easily, willingly, out of habit. And they feel like shit. So you kind of start learning through experience that it doesn't fucking feel good to do that. So I don't think I'm going to do that today. You might give into it. You might have some feelings and emotions. And then there you go again. You become aware again. That doesn't feel good. I don't want to do that. I don't have to do this. If I'm source, I don't have to do this. I don't have to figure anything out. I just have to know who I am. Period. So I look at that as, see that repetition, the repetition of returning to knowing who you are or remembering who you are. And then not overanalyzing that. Like that question, how do I hold the state? How can I hold that state? Because our very logical, rational part of us is thinking, if I hold that state, the faster this can come. There we are. Conditioning, overanalyzing, trying to prepare our next move, trying to predict. Remember who you are, be still and know. And by the way, asking that question, how do I hold a state, is not a stupid question. So anybody who's asked me that, don't think I'm laughing at you or picking at you. I don't mean it like that. I'm just saying. But do you see how we immediately fall back into that overanalyzing? Trying to predict, trying to prepare. And then sometimes we get lost in it. We start that overthinking, worrying. And then all of a sudden we kind of like become aware that we've spent the last 3 hours focusing on all the shit that makes us feel like shit. Then we have to start being worried that, oh my God, I spent 3 hours thinking all these shitty thoughts. Oh my God, now they're all going to have to manifest because somebody in a video said that if you spiral, you're going to get punished for it. Horse shit. Just be still and know I am. Right? Sorry, little frog chef. I went off on a tangent on you. David Registers, thank you very much. Again, have you ever manifested one SP and have someone else show up? Oh my God. Yes. Yes, my friend. That happens all the time. Not just to me. I'm saying in general. That's probably one of the most common things to happen when someone's manifesting a specific person. Most common. Aunt Sip! Sup you? How you doing, my friend? Aunt Sip is an OG to this channel. Aunt Sip used to be in all the old live streams. You OGers remember that name? Just saying. I hope life is going lovingly for you, my friend. But back to David. Yes, that is very common. My perspective, my opinion on why that happens is because you are experiencing the reflection of your conscious awareness. So let's say, we'll use the SP example. You start to become aware that you are the you in a loving, fulfilling, committed relationship with your specific person, right? You start knowing yourself. You are being still and knowing that that is who you are. Reality must reflect. So I look at it as, so all these little paths of least resistance start showing up. Maybe it's people you've never met before. They start showing up and they're suddenly interested in you. Maybe it's people you've dated from the past. Suddenly they are re-interested in you. They're all reflecting, let's say, that new identity. Granted, it's not a new identity. It was always a part of you, right? You have access to all versions of you at every given moment because you are the totality of unconditional love, unconditioned awareness, right? It doesn't feel like that. It feels like we're just one self. I know that. But, so yeah, the path of least resistance, of course. You are seeing through the filter of that new identity. And again, I shouldn't use the word new because it's not brand new. But let's say new to your, what's the word? Awareness. New to your focus in awareness. That's all. But I'll tell you what it doesn't mean. It doesn't mean that your specific person isn't going to show up just because all the wrong people have been. Doesn't mean that at all. I will also tell you that sometimes some people choose to date the newer, we call them BBLs. BBLs, birds before land. Some people decide to go and have dates here and there with these other BBLs as they are choosing to be the self they want to be, meaning the version of themselves in a relationship with a specific person that maybe isn't in front of their face in this moment in the 3D. That won't stop specific person from coming in. My channel members, my paid channel members can tell you, because I make a big deal about it every time it happens because I love being right. I have said this since day one of this channel, that all right, so let's say you find manifestation and you start this journey of manifesting your specific person and having the experience of other BBL peeps coming in. That will not stop the original specific person from coming in. It won't. And I'm telling you, there is consistent evidence of that, especially in the exclusive lives group. That's because that's our success story group. We hear stories about the original SPs coming in over and over. We just had one last week. Literally. Happens all the time. So anybody who thinks because the wrong people are coming in, don't you worry. Your specific person is still happening. It is still happening. I don't know. Felt like you needed to know that, so. Bizarre 1017, thank you very much for the super chat, but did you have anything that you wanted to ask? I mean, that was a very nice super chat. Bizarre. Do you have anything? I mean, that was very generous of you, but did you want to ask me something? And if so, if you could put it in the chat very quickly, that would be nice. Just good evening. Just good evening. That is so nice of you. Thank you very much. Jesus. That was very kind of you. Thank you very much. And good evening to you. Kim, I have a question related to law. I just need your one simple reply. I really do need your help in this moment. I don't know if it's my belief or destiny, but whenever I say I'm literal God source, yes, yes, whenever I say I'm literal God source, yes. I don't know what AUR is, but subconscious mind is it? Well, I think you're missing some parts, my friend. Wait a minute. Part 3, part 5, huh? Wait a minute here. You're killing me with the parts. Good Lord, these parts aren't even in order, I'm not. Part 6? Where's part 2? What is happening here? You're killing me, friend. Where's part 2? We need part 2. That's what we need first. But whenever I say I'm literal God source, and then it hops to subconscious mind, is it the same God who made this entire universe, or it's our you mean our subconscious mind isn't the same actual God who made human beings entire whole universe subconscious too? Subconscious mind, yeah, these parts are killing me, friend, because they are not in order. Subconscious mind universe? It's a confusion and a doubt for me, so also explain this too. Please, I need your response on it. My religious beliefs are saying this is impossible. You cannot be God himself. A created mind cannot make you creator itself. Free T. What I'm asking for, is it possible? What is free T, friend? Through the law of assumption. Can a human, me, manifest this? Can a limited human become what? Become what? Okay, I'm gonna make a little guess at what you're trying to ask me, my friend. Okay? Are you, so your consciousness, is that the same God as the God, the outside separate God that most of us have been raised with, this outside God? Is it one and the same? Yes, this can be very hard to accept because I know, depending on what religious beliefs you were raised under, I was raised under Catholicism. So, under what I was brought up with, this was blasphemous. But yes, your consciousness, your isness, the life within you-ness is God. From a logical, literal standpoint, of course you're going to question that. Of course that doesn't make sense. Didn't make sense to me either. Let me just start out with it. It felt like I was being blasphemous. How dare I say that I am God. It sounded like I was putting myself ahead of God. What helped me make sense of it. When you think of the ocean as being God or the universe. The ocean compared to a droplet of water. If we were to put the ocean under a giant microscope and take a little droplet and put that under another microscope, and if we were to look down at them both would have the same ingredients, the same parts. That little tiny droplet versus that huge ocean. So think of the ocean as being God, as the absolute. I prefer to say the absolute. We are the little droplets of water. Think of it like that. Some people like to call that a fractal of God, a fractal of the universe. The way I see it, I don't care what words you use. But yes, your consciousness, the absolute that created everything, took a little piece of itself and made you a point in consciousness. You hear that though? A point in consciousness. So what has helped me understand this and work through my own religious beliefs and upbringings? I see God as me, in me, and also outside of me. But I'm using that phrase loosely because I do accept and believe that reality around me is really not outside of me. It's really my own conscious awareness. But sometimes describing things, and especially if you're very logical and very literal, I feel like I have to over-explain it so that it doesn't confuse you more. Now, you mentioned your subconscious. So your subconscious, notice that phrasing, subconsciousness, subconscious, the subconscious mind. I wanted to add that ness to it, sorry. Sub. That's the most important letters of that word, subconscious, is sub. It is sub to consciousness, to your consciousness. So your conscious mind, and what the fuck? I just went blank on his name. Come out, advanced manifestors, help me. One of the authors we talked about. I don't know why I want to say Eleanor Roosevelt. It was so not Eleanor Roosevelt. Oh God. Come on, somebody throw me a name. It's this person's, his name will come to me. This person in my favorite book of his, and of course I can't think of that at all right now. Ernest Holmes. I knew it started with an E. Damn. Okay. Eleanor, you guys are never going to let me live down Eleanor Roosevelt. I shouldn't even have told you that was the name that came into my mind. Eleanor Roosevelt, manifestation talk. So they're not connected at all, by the way. All right. So Ernest Holmes, his book, which is a really good one, and you can get it free online. Just saying. He talked about that, and I love this, and I agree with this. That's why I'm saying it. So this might help you. The conscious mind dictates, controls subconscious mind. I know that is not always how that is presented to us in the manifestation community. But what you're consciously thinking from moment to moment to moment, and I'm going to say consciously choosing from moment to moment to moment to moment, is dictating to the subconscious who you are. So I mean that from the point of you are not limited by your subconscious mind. Yes, that is an old school of thought in the manifestation community, but once you evolve to the understanding of being I am, unconditioned consciousness, unconditioned awareness, the I am supersedes the subconscious. That's why I said key phrase or key words or key letters, sub. So I feel from just your comments here, you're overthinking your subconscious mind. Now, you're killing me. We are a part 20. Hbic, part 20? This is a bit much. You know what I'm saying? It's a bit much. Neither as okay, you're killing me with the parts and I am not following them all. Okay. Neither as I actually used to look like naturally. Even if my desire hasn't yet manifested, I don't want the way I look right now because of saying I am source itself. After all that, I'll calm my nervous system and try to manifest this desire. Why do you feel like, all right, if you feel like you have to calm your nervous system in order to manifest, I'm sorry, but that is another limited belief. Yes, it feels better to have a calm nervous system. It feels better, but this is another one of those I'm going to die on the hill for. Nothing can supersede I am. Nothing. And this calming the nervous system is another man-made limited belief. Quite frankly, another man-made excuse that has been used to confuse people into thinking, here's another reason why you might not have manifested yet. Now you have to calm your nervous system or it won't work. That is not true. Nothing supersedes God. Nothing supersedes I am. And you being aware of who you choose to be aware of being, nothing can supersede that. Yes, with repetition, you might have to remember who you are, or I like to say, return to your decision. Remember that you are already whole, already perfection, already complete, because you are already source. You might have to remember that because you might have a habit of being let's say, I don't know, an unfavorable version of yourself with limited beliefs. Because of course that is a possibility out of the infinite. But just, I don't want you to get hung up on, I have to do this in order to get, because that's just simply not true. Just saying. All right. So, and try to manifest the desire back. But first I need to know it's really actually possible or totally impossible. Anything is possible because everything already exists. Consciousness, think of consciousness. Trying to think of really big words. Consciousness contains everything you already know and everything that you aren't even aware of yet. Anything you've ever thought yourself to be, anything that you will ever think of yourself to be, already exists in consciousness. It was there before you were here, before your little droplet came to planet Earth. Existed because creation was finished or is finished. It's done, already created. God, source, the absolute. Okay, science would call, the quantum field. It's already there. So everything is possible. There's nothing off the table in possibilities. Nothing. It's infinite. That's the biggest word I can come up with. It's infinite. As far as you getting your appearance back, I need you to know that any type of appearance change that may have happened as you were telling yourself, I am, it is not because it's not because of that. So you are not being punished because you told yourself you are source. But having a previous religious belief that this is blasphemy, that this is wrong to think of yourself as source, yes, could that manifest an experience to you to make you feel like this is my punishment? I should have never said that. Sure. Of course, that is possible. Can that be changed? Of course. God is unconditional love. Unconditional. Most of what we are taught, most, not all, and I'm not judging or pointing to just one religion, most belief systems have some limited conditioning involved in it. This is limitless. This is God is unconditional love. I cannot stress the word unconditional. You are not punished for waking up to what your consciousness is. So yes, you can change it back. How would you change it back? By deciding that's who you are. By knowing who you want to be. And I would say it's very natural and normal to have doubts that you are a part of the same creator of the universe. Of course, you're going to question that. But you're not going to be punished for questioning it. See what I mean? I think it will help you to really contemplate the idea that God's love, and if you don't like the word God, insert the word you do, but that love is unconditional. We are not earning this love. We are not proving ourselves for this love. Some religious belief systems kind of teach you that that's what you got to do. Again, I'm not naming any in particular. I'm just saying in general. And if you're all thinking authentically, I know you agree with me, and you can think of at least one or two. So I'm just saying, God's love is unconditional. Or the universe's love, it's unconditional. Be still and know that I am. I am. Who are you? I am who? Or I am what? It's the power. That's the magic wand of your consciousness. I am fill in the blank. Your starting point, let's say like ground zero for every single one of us, is whole, complete, divine, flawless, limitless. And then we move through life picking up conditions, layers of ignorance, limited beliefs that think of them as masks that keep layering on top of us and making it hard for us to see clearly out at reality. And as you know yourself to be, I am, it's like peeling away all the layers of ignorance, all the limited beliefs. Anything that tells you in order to manifest, you have to fix and heal and do this. You have to rewire. You must do this. That's a layer of ignorance because that sounds conditional. I am. Be still and know I am. Okay? And on that note, I must go. It has been lovely. I am sorry I couldn't get here at 3-ish, like I said I would. But I'm glad we got to get together and chat. I thought I had something more I wanted to tell you guys, and of course I forgot it. To my hot seaters, I'll see you all in the morning, okay? I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day, and I'm sure I will see you over the weekend. It's my intention to go live again, okay? I like the lives. Would it bother you guys if I went live a little more often versus putting up videos? And I'm not trying to say I'm going to stop putting up videos. I'm just saying, would you guys care if I went live more versus putting up a whole video? Or would you prefer me just doing what I'm doing now? Maybe to any of you, you could answer that in the comments underneath the upstream or the live stream itself. Don't even worry about putting it in the chat. Live more. Good, good, good. Okay, good, because that's what I want to do. Like when I say follow what feels good is me going live. Honestly, I love recording videos too, but sometimes I just want to go live. It feels like I'm really sitting here and hanging out with you guys when I go live. I like it. All right, good. I'm glad that I'm seeing that is the answer. To any of you that are watching this replay, let me know in the comments below. You know what I mean? Okay. Thank you so much, Hbic. Hbic, I hope you feel better. I hope you understood what I'm saying. You are right, Cecilia. Lives are recorded too. You are right. Thank you for reminding me of that. Especially after I'm sitting there saying if somebody's watching the replay. Duh, Kim. So yeah, Hbic, I hope you feel better. I hope that I have a hair in my mouth for the love of Christ. Cleared up any of those fears. Like I said, think about the ocean versus a water droplet. We are the water droplets. Okay? All right. I love you all. I shall see you all tomorrow.